Hello everyone, welcome to the Jenkins Weekly Infrastructure Team Meeting. Happy New Year 2025 for everyone. We are the 7th January 2025. That's the first week meeting of the year. So I hope everyone is doing good. Okay, so let's add the handles of the person who are attending. I am Martin. So myself, Damien Duportel, I'm here. We have Jay Franco, Mark Waite, Stéphane Merle, Bonnevarten, Kevin Martin, Savelemer, and Ian Martin. Welcome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, count is good. So let's have a look at the announcement. We had two weekly release before the 2 week break at the end of last year. So we released with success 2.490 the 17, but due to a regression in that release, we decided to have 2.491 2 days later, right before stopping releases for 2 weeks. So right now, the latest weekly version of Jenkins is 2.491. It should be 2.492 in a few hours as this release started automatically. So we are back to normal schedule. And in a few hours, it should be released and deployed everywhere. I don't have other announcements except wishing you a brand new year. Do you have other announcements, folks? Nope. Okay.
Oh, wait a second. I take it back. Yes, announcements. So Jenkins LTS release tomorrow.
Jenkins LTS really. Oh yeah,
But that we could do that on calendar. It just
yeah.
since you mentioned
Good point.
LTS weekly release, we will do LTS tomorrow. But and yeah, calendar is as good a place to do as any. It's there. So let's do calendar.
Let's roll for this one. No other announcement then, and we go right to the calendar. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So the next weekly release of Jenkins should happen next Tuesday. So that will be the 14th January 2025, and the version will be 2.493. That release is expected to be fully automated, like every Tuesday. Nothing else to say. Next LTS release will happen tomorrow. That will be 2.479.3. Nothing specific except please don't break the infrastructure tomorrow because yeah, the people in charge of the release will need the infrastructure. I don't remember who is the release lead tomorrow, Mark.
Chris
I
Stern.
haven't checked. Okay, Chris Stern is release lead. Okay, I will try to tell her to remind her that she can start as soon as possible, especially since she's based in Asia. And we will check in the morning, so that will help everyone to have something done around noon in Europe if everything goes according to the plan.
Great. Thank you.
So we don't have any publicly announced Jenkins security advisory, so good for us. Regarding the platform, the Jenkins infrastructure platform, we have a few credentials that are going to expire in the upcoming days. So the 12th January, we will have free Azure service principles that are used to deploy websites to Azure buckets for docs, Jenkins.io, Javadoc, and www.jenkins.io. So we will need an issue for each, and we will need to rotate these credentials. 13th of January, we also have a fourth Azure service principle that will expire, the one which is used by CI Jenkins.io in order to spin up ephemeral Azure VM agents. So we have 4 issues to create and to treat. I don't have other upcoming credential. Stefan, are you okay if we split the burden? We
Yes.
do. Cool. I
Uh,
will
I
let you. Yep. Sorry, Mark?
I don't know if we call it a credential or not. It's not really a credential, but
Oh, yep.
we
Good.
we
Yeah.
had I was delighted that we had Tyler Croy renew the Jenkins.io domain registration promptly. So it was expired would have expired middle of January or late January. it's been renewed. But we also have the SSL certificate for repo CI Jenkins.io that will expire in less than 30 days.
Absolutely. You created an issue for this one.
Right.
You beat me to it. I had a reminder 2 hours ago.
Oh,
so,
good. Very
so
good.
that's good. That means we are two. That's that because that's one that could create some mayhem. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm copy and pasting the link. Thanks, Mark. I will comment on this issue later, but we will. So we need. It looks like we need Kosuke. I need to double check, but I believe we need Kosuke for this one, like once a year. However, we can generate intermediate certificate like we did last year because Kosuke wasn't responsive. So we can use Let's Encrypt since by using DNS validation. If we search for the previous issue from last year, I've posted the validation method. It's use certbot. Since we have access to the DNS record, we can create the TXT record for the DNS challenge, and that's okay.
And the benefit of that is it doesn't evolve Kosuke, but the cost is it's then every 3 months that we must renew it. Is that correct, Damien?
Exactly.
Got it. Thank you.
Available. We can have a temp. Let's grip certificate. I would have expected Artifactory to do it for us, but yeah, it's not the case. Thanks for the reminder and the issue, Mark. I must forget. Stefan, in that case, is it okay for you if you take care of the free Azure SP for deployment because the three of them are on the same controller? That's the same thing.
Yes.
While I will take care of the CI Jenkins and the repo Jenkins CI credentials or certificate. Is that okay for you?
Yes, perfect.
Cool. I will contact KK for this and stats. Next major event, we will meet all each other in Brussels, 31 January, 1 and 2 February for the Jenkins Contributing Summit, followed by the FOSDEM. So yes, if you are around, please come and say hello.
And we
Anything
will
else? Yep. Go ahead, sir.
Bruno worries about the agenda, but I'm sure we're going to have a breakout session for infrastructure, and we'll want to prepare for that breakout session with detailed looking backward to see what's been on our minds and looking forward to what are the things we should be doing. I assume accounts.jenkins.io replacement will be a key topic, but I'm not sure about other topics during the infra breakout portion.
Yeah,
Bruno?
We'll see.
GDK 21.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, and JDK 25, right? Because it's coming in September of 2025.
Ah, yep.
Yeah.
Also.
We have a draft agenda, of course, and I'll give the link to the existing slides, the draft slides for the presentations during the contributor summit, and then I will ping the officers so that they can fill in their sections if they feel like it.
Good. Account.go, etc. As infrastructure officer, I will also report about the cost from last year and the expectation for this year. Yep. Thanks. I will need to spend some time. Sorry, Bruno, I'm late on the agenda part. I think we will need
No
to go
problem.
back
You're
real
not
quickly.
yeah, that's okay. You're not alone.
Thanks for the reminder. That means I need to prioritize this. Anything else on the upcoming calendar or announcements? Are there any questions so far? Nope. Okay, let's have a look at the cloud budgets. So that's also the opportunity for us to look back on the budget we consume on 2024. First of all, the Azure CDF paid account. So that's the main and the oldest account we have here, except the CloudBees one. Last month, we consumed 4.4K, more or less. We are waiting for the invoice, but that's So we are still below the goal of 4.5 that we had. However, we had a slight increase compared to the previous months, but we are still in the expected consumption. If we look back in 2024, we have paid $53,333 for the whole year, which is clearly below the expected 60K that we planned with the CDF. So that's really cool. That's really a good work. Everyone in that room worked one way or the other to help on that goal that was a shared team goal. So congratulations everyone. That allowed the CDF to maintain someone working a full-time job thanks to the money. As a reminder, the same value in 2023 was this one. That is insane. We have decreased by more than half compared to 2023.
Continued service and savings of 50%. We cut the thing in half and still continued service. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks to the team. So Kevin, don't miss highlighting that in our year-end blog post that annual costs for the or Damien, whoever is the infrastructure voice, annual costs in 2024 over 120,000, annual costs in 2020 or 2024 less than 55,000. Very nice.
So clearly for 2025, we are not expecting to decrease by half again. That will be really insane. Don't set too much expectation, right? Okay, and for this month, it's a bit early, but we have a forecast around 4K, which maps what we saw from the previous month. We'll most probably have a bit more due to a bit more consumption because forecast is influenced by the 2 weeks, the 2 previous weeks. And between Christmas and New Year's Eve, we don't have a lot of activity. So everything good on the Azure CDF account. Any question on this one? Nope. Okay, so let's have a look at the second Azure cloud account. That's the sponsored account, sponsored by Microsoft credits. We have remaining 30K of credits valid until May 2025. Last month we consumed 9.5K. It's a bit lower than the previous month, of course, less activity. And for 2024, for the whole year, we consume 87,000 credits. So thanks Microsoft for giving us these credits, and thanks everyone involved in setting up that account, from negotiating with CDF and Microsoft up to creating machines. Everyone involved, thanks for that, because that has been a big benefit for the Jenkins project that has been used heavily in order to run the BOM builds, the acceptance testerness for Jenkins builds, and every plugin CI builds. So that's really a huge success.
And if it turns out that our transition to AWS isn't as fast as we'd hoped, we can ask for more money from Microsoft. Michelle Martineau has indicated that if we need a larger donation from Microsoft beyond the current one, we can ask. So
that's good news.
Thanks very much to Microsoft.
Cool. Thanks for this. And for this month, we have already consumed 1.6K, forecast at 8. I hope we will consume less, but right now that's the target. Anything else on Azure? DigitalOcean? So we have consumed 192. So we start to have a steady consumption now. As a reminder, they have renewed the sponsored for 1 year. So since we didn't consume much, we still have 15K credits there, part of the 20K negotiated by Hervé last year. I asked them if they could just extend the expiration dates, because we will most probably stay like this for the first half of the year at least, which they agreed to. We will need to write a few blog posts to thank them, but other than that, that's cool. So thanks everyone. Last year we consumed almost 5K on DigitalOcean. We can consume more in the upcoming month, of course. And for this month, we have 42 with a forecast at 185, so usual consumption, nothing specific here. Any question about DigitalOcean?
So no issues on archives.jenkins.io hosting there, no alarms, anything.
No,
It's just working well. Great.
exactly.
Thanks.
We have seen a slight increase on the outbound bandwidth since we have set up archives Jenkins.io as a fallback for both downloads on Get Jenkins.io and Update Center. But the increase is $15 per month in bandwidth. So that's absolutely okay. We can afford that 1,000 times. Finally, AWS, two accounts. The one that we try to get rid of, the AWS legacy CloudBees account that was hosting the update center. So as you can see, we have consumed 540 credits dollars last month compared to the 3.9K and 6.4K the month before. That proved that our effort on migrating Update Center to Cloudflare has been really a good benefit. We expect more or less the same amount. We will have to spend time on removing the last artifact on that account. For 2024, CloudBees paid that amount of money, which is a lot. That's a good sponsored effort. I hope we won't have to pay that much next year. Thanks CloudBees for this, and thanks everyone involved on that update center migration that allows CloudBees to sponsor the Jenkins project from another paths, because that one was critically hard for us to manage because we cannot allow non-CloudBees employee to access that account. Which is a good news because we have an AWS sponsored account negotiated last year. I didn't do a 2024 summary because it's irrelevant. We are still building something here.
Well, so before you go off the CloudBees one, could we consider, or is the group here willing to consider putting a 2024 and 2023 comparison for the CloudBees funded item into the 2024 blog post as well? I thought 2024 also cost us about 120K, but I don't remember or 2023 cost us about 120K, but I don't remember for sure.
Mhm.
So is that, I guess to you, Damien, is that something that you'd be willing to share? And could we put it into the blog post also?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm opening. Stefan, could you help us, or Hervé, one of the two, by checking the total amount for 2023 in CloudBees, please? Thanks.
I'm trying right now.
Good point, Mark. But yes, I think it's absolutely okay to show the decrease over time.
Great. Thank you. And Kevin, on that blog post, I'm not yet ready with the key question you had me answering about sponsorship levels. I've got to talk that one over with the Jenkins board, so we're not ready to publish yet.
Anything else on the cloud-based account except I will let Stefan write down the value. And so we are still working on a new sponsored account. The goal, as a reminder, is to move CI Jenkins.io and its agents from the Azure sponsored to the AWS sponsored. We did great. We passed great milestone. We are almost there, but we are still working on it. Anything else on cloud budgets or any general question? So just something, Mark, but for everyone, I'm waiting for the last invoices to be sent by the cloud provider before filling the shared Google spreadsheets, in which we have the fine grain bills tracking, especially for the sharing with the CDF and the board, of course. I will let you know. And Bruno, I haven't updated Docker Hub stats since quite some time. I forgot the 2 or past 3 months. I need to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, unless someone object, I'm gonna move to the operational notes. So let's have a quick look on the task we were able to finish during the past 2 weeks. That has been a long milestone. So on the topic of support tasks, we had an AKS outage, so multiple during the same day in the on all regions, and in particular the one we are using when trying to spin up new ARM64 virtual machines. It was failing because they were out of hardware. That was quite annoying, but only on some availability zone. That's the part. I've learned later that in fact they had the issue on some of their buildings in the data centers on US East and US East 2. So they had not only hardware outage, but also electricity outage that led to ARM64 being deprioritized during 1 or 2 hours. Of course, that's when we were trying to upgrade the operating system of this machine. Yes, Murphy's Law. So we had outages and some service were out of order. Everything has been logged in the issue. So sorry for the inconvenience. Some services, such as the LDAP, were down for 20 minutes due to that change. The takeaway is that after that, in order to decrease the probability of such an outage in the future, we have separated the availability zone between what we call the system node pool and the other node pools. So these are a collection of virtual machines that have different behaviors. System node pools contains the critical part that allow Kubernetes to work and perform, such as network, DNS, and these elements. They are running on a different availability zone than the one in which we run the Jenkins agents in Kubernetes. That allows, if there is an outage on one or the other, we won't drain all the cluster. Either we will impact the ability of Jenkins to spin up new agents, but that won't take down the services. And on the other hand, if it happened on the system node pool availability zone, then we will only have the issue of, hey, we cannot upgrade, so we stay like this until the outage is finished. So that will make the system more resilient to such error in the future. We had a few issues around maintainer to be added on the right hosting team. We also had Team Yacom that started to work on the Golang command line used to aggregate statistics. That's a command line written by Andrew Bayer. And it looks like he coded some issues and added CI capability to that command line in order to provide testing and feedbacks to user. So it's not built by Andrew on his machine. And so as such, required some GitHub permission in order to have CI Jenkins IO trying to build and test that issue from time to time. Thanks, team, for that effort. We had an issue reported by Chris about some CI/CD check on stats Jenkins IO being stuck. That was caused by credential expired. So you can see the elements below. But that has been fixed in the hour after opening the issue. We had Jira setup, so that's also usual support. And that's all on the support, let's say level 1. Now on the keep platform up to date, which are more technical tasks that we do in order to keep the platform in good shape. We had the expiration of all the Terraform backend credential and Cloudflare API token. They were renewed in the right time. We also took the opportunity to bump Terraform from the 1.9 to the 1.10 line. And we deprecated an Helm chart that we're not using anymore. The issue I mentioned about expired credential is one of these. So we have a batch of credential which expired on these websites. And we tracked them, but we forgot to work on them in the days before the holidays. Mostly because Stefan and I were one after the other either off or ill. So that's why it went through. So I hope we will improve this in the future. One of the elements is that some of these credentials, such as the service principal used to spawn Azure VM, that one can be changed to what we call identity instance, also called credential-less authentication, in which you authenticate the workload without requiring any credential, and it's based on cloud provider features. The idea is that for Infra CI, Trusted CI, and Cert CI, this for controller doesn't require an Azure Service Principal. We can associate the workload with the controller. So that's something we will work on the future because these are private and not multi-tenant controllers. So we don't have any security risk of someone running a malicious workload. And in worst case, they can create virtual machines. So the perimeter is short. Please note that for CI Jenkins IO, that will be the case once it will be moved to AWS. We had some cleanup, additional cleanup when we revoked some accesses for Hervé Lemeur. There were some GitHub groups that were accidentally deleted because he created them and was the only owner. So some of them were blocking Valentin when working on pipeline libraries. So we had to recreate the group with the proper users. And also on the cleanup area, it was done since a few weeks, but I forgot to close the issue about using artifact caching proxy for Maven HPI plugin. That was a specific project in Jenkins CI, and it was failing to build when using ACP due to a lot of reasons, but these things have been fixed with the help of Basil and many other contributors. Finally, thanks to the work of Jade and Stefan Danhai, we were able to finish publishing Packer image on EC2 for Windows 19 and 22. So thanks, folks. These images are published and are working. Good job. We had 3 closed as not planned issues. Usually these issues are either the requester is not responsive after 1 or 2 weeks. It was the case for the person requesting an account. They created their account. The logs show they logged in successfully, but they said they weren't. When we asked details, we did not have any answer. So after 2 weeks, I closed the issue. We also have a particular one I want to underline to everyone here. We have a user who had issue with the update center. Problem is they only give us partial information and we don't understand what they are doing, so we cannot reproduce. The takeaway is that they are using an URL which is wrong. You should never use directly the dynamic update center JSON. As I underline on the message, if you need a specific version, a specific tailored version update center, you need to use HTTPS, the hostname updates Jenkins IO. Don't try any other hostname. And you directly call the JSON file you need, and you add the query string with your Jenkins version. This URL will issue redirection targets. You have to follow all the redirection until you have your file. Sometimes it redirects to dynamic whatever. Sometimes it does not. But please do not use directly dynamic. It's not expected and it won't work in some case. Takeaway, we closed because the user did not respond. However, most probably they used install, where is the name of that file? They were using install.-plugin.sh in a Docker file, which is an whole shell script, which goal was to install Jenkins plugin in the image. That thing has been deprecated 2.5 years ago. Please, if you have that kind of issue, switch to the Jenkins plugin CLI, which is part of the official Jenkins Docker image. That's all on all the closed tasks. Are there any questions? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's have a look at the work in progress. On the support area. So we have Alex Earl, who requested that we start releasing a component of Jenkins named WinP. It's a component for Windows. And we should start releasing that one with signed code. Today, it's released using the CD process. We choose GitHub Action for the deployment part because for safety reason. But we don't add the Jenkins code signing certificate in GitHub Action. We only have them in release.ci.jenkins.io, which is a private Jenkins controller releasing Jenkins once a week or during LTSs. So the request by Alex that we discussed prior to his issue is that he wants us to start releasing WinP from release.ci.jenkins.io, so that will allow signing the code in Windows to avoid this annoying pop-up that say, hey, that code is not signed. So we'll have to work on adding there is already a job DSL setup, so we'll need to add the new job in job DSL and work with Alex for the first release. So we will add this to the upcoming milestone. I will comment it to ask him what is the timeline in which he will be available, so we can focus our effort when he will have some time to spare on this one, because it's not his main job, as a reminder. So I will prefer to do it surgically. Is there anyone interested to work on this one, or should I take it by default? Which I don't mind, it's okay. Since I started the discussion, but if anyone is interested, I can have add them here. Okay, so I'm taking it. We have a request by Valentin to create a new repository for scope buckets. As I understand, it's yet another package manager aimed at Windows, if I'm not mistaken, in order to quickly generate the CLI and distribute it like we do with Homebrew today.
Yep.
I have mixed feeling on this one, in the sense that it's the first CLI. Do we really need it? Since we already have Chocolatey, Homebrew works on Windows, we can have the CLI as it, and also Microsoft provide its own package manager for the CLI, which I would prefer to use.
Yeah, I proposed Chocolatey, but the features it has were not good enough, I think, for Valentin. I could give you the link to the discussion we had, and so insisted on getting Scoop. If that's a problem, we can still discuss it and maybe go with another package manager like the one you cited, Chocolatey, or the one which is bundled with Windows. Why not? Let's discuss it.
Okay, if I don't know, if there was a discussion, it's okay. My proposal is that I will want to do a kind of hacking session during first dem with Valentin and a few of you, so we can get this started immediately. So we could pair or even mob program on this one. So we won't have to spend too much time on this. I will ask Valentin in the issue if it's okay for him, if we have the discussion and eventually the hacking session. And so we could delay this one to February, if it's okay for everyone.
Nobody's asking for it except Valentin and I, so we can wait, that's for sure.
Can we do it during first dem? Okay. And I need to double check the issue, but I'm not sure to understand the reason why we should need. Sorry, let me rephrase. We are trying to get away from Chocolatey and from any Windows package manager in the infra. So that's why I wonder if it's yet another package manager for distributing CLI is really useful or not. But on the other hand, yeah, let's build it and people will use it. That could be also the adage that say, hey, there is no point. My worry is how well will it be maintained? Because if it's maintained for 3 months or 6 months, okay, that's cool. But if in 6 months we need to add this to our payload, and that means in 1 year it won't be updated at all. So that's something to think about. However, if we do it, we will need to use it to distribute Jenkins version CLI, and we have a few other CLI that are already on Homebrew today. So that's worth adding it and then distribute all the other CLI for Windows.
I see.
Is that okay for everyone? Are there more questions on this? Bruno, may I ask you to add the comment you had here inside the issue? explaining
Yeah.
context during the weekly meeting. It was requested by Damien and you had the link. Okay, next issue in support area. We had foreign releases in public repository. So that's something for Artifactory admin. I will double check. It looks like we have some outdated mirrored artifacts that create problem with Dependabots because these artifacts should be in Maven Central, but we used to have a full copy of the Maven Central on our Artifactory. That's not the case anymore, but we still have a few that are there due to the wrong filters. So I need to check based on Valentin and Tim and Alex feedbacks on the issue. I need to check with my admin permission what are the current filters and remove the dependency. So that's something on my mind. Sorry, I cannot delegate this one because it requires a few admin specific things because it requires deletion. We have that dangling issue instability of artifact caching proxy. I propose that we remove from milestone, and I will comment it. Each time, for each errors I found, I saw an issue on Artifactory itself, not artifact caching proxy. I wasn't able to reproduce any of the described elements by the contributor. So I'm not really sure about what to do next. My proposal is that we remove it from milestone and we will retry and re-ask again the contributor once we will have migrated to CI Jenkins IO. So, sorry, until we have migrated CI Jenkins IO to AWS. Sorry, long day. The next one is stale. Damien to check with Tim and Mark. So that one require a few pull requests to do on the packaging part. We need to double check. I understand, Kevin, that the documentation for Fedora, Red Hat, and that kind of Linux distribution has been done on Jenkins IO, and soon it should be the Jenkins IO documentation should be pointed by the web server mentioned here. Is my understanding correct?
I believe so. I know Mark had just done a couple updates as well. So I think that's in line with what he had added.
Cool. Okay, so we'll need to double check that one is low priority. Oh, yet another artifact caching proxy. My bad, Bruno. I mixed your issue about artifact caching proxy with the one that Darren opened and the one with the external contributor.
Oh, okay.
But the status is the same in the end. We need to remove from milestone until we have migrated. I cannot reproduce the error unless we have an issue on Artifactory side. That's my problem. That's all for the support issue. Any question? Okay, so on the area of the keep platform up to date, we only have one stale issue. We are still waiting. So we don't have infrastructure statistic since October 2024. We rely on Kosuke and Andrew Bayer. Kosuke was traveling and was off during most of the month of December. I've sent him a gentle ping yesterday, so I hope he will complete all the stats at least until first for the whole 2024, and then Andrew should take care of the next steps. I will personally try to bring this topic soon to the Jenkins board. The goal will be how can we draft the next steps so we don't need to rely on Kosuke for this. As a reminder, the reason is Kosuke used to be let's say, the community leader and is doing the sensitive operation of anonymizing the data from the statistics, from the access log. That part is low sensitive. That's why it was done by one person to limit the risks. However, we should have two persons all the time able to do it. And that's why we will need to draft what are the legal constraints here. So we can draft something. Maybe it could be infrastructure and led by 1 or 2 person on the board. But we need to write down all the process that was done manually or semi-manually by Kosuke until now. On the part for Andrew have started documenting his part. Team have started to take over on the Golang part. So that's the second step. Once it's anonymized, we need to aggregate the statistics before publishing them to Stats Jenkins.io based repository. So Andrew will most probably do a sharing knowledge session in February. We should have done in October, but none of us were available already, and he's currently moving from middle US to New York. So yeah, that's quite the effort for him. As a reminder, it's not his job. So he's doing this with the pureness of his earth, and because he's like a writing Go. So yeah, needs to ping KK and Andrew for finishing 2024 stats. As a reminder for everyone, as I wrote on the issue, no need to ping us every week or month on this for people interested on the stats. If it's not updated, there is nothing we can do about it until we have migrated everything. That will take months. That's a huge work and that's core. So yeah, please bear with us because too much notification kills the notification. On the operational parts, our main priority for the past milestone and the upcoming milestone is moving CI Jenkins.io from Azure to AWS. We did great progress. Thanks, Stefan and Jay for the help. Right now, to summarize, we have an EKS cluster running, cluster created with ACP, Datadog, etc. Stefan is working on the CI Jenkins.io agent, which means, Stefan, we have almost closed that issue because I might have created another issue I need to double check. So that means we will split the issue. I will finish this one. You will start on the other. Finishing this one, last task is to have ACP available through private load balancer for the VM agents. So the goal is to have the artifact caching proxy service running in that cluster available only to the private virtual machines, not publicly. So we need to set up what we call an internal load balancer that will allow one private network to reach that service on another private network. We have the documentation. It's just a matter of spending the right time and we can close this issue. Did I miss anything, Stefan, on the EKS port?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cool, thanks. On the ephemeral VM agent, Windows work needs to set it as code. Optimization on Windows boot time, because right now we are between 2 to 6 minutes. In Azure, we are between 1 to 3 minutes. So there are improvements that could be done, but it's not a blocker anymore. Windows work in EC2. So needs to provide all templates, same as current ci.io. And once these two are done, we will start, so meaning we can, once we are able to create VM agent or container agents from the new AWS CI Jenkins.io, we will have to prepare the migration to the new controller. We have a few subtasks, like such as the Docker registry, but other than that, we are almost there. I really hope we will be able to do it in January. Let's say, let's get ambitious, but yeah, still it's not done. One last thing, I was ill, so I wasn't able to perform this one. I would have wanted before Christmas to decommission the old updates Jenkins.io Apache service. So to do right now, It's not a top priority. The goal is to kick any eventual user who haven't updated their DNS value and still using the old IP. We have a few new issues. Jay, thanks for creating the free update CLI issues for you to work on. So they will move to the new milestone. So these are part of the work on related to CI Jenkins IO. The goal is to keep track of each component and dependencies we introduced in the infrastructure management, Terraform providers, Terraform volumes, the operating system version used for the virtual machines, etc. So Jay, you take them in the order we discussed, from the easiest to the most complicated one. And as I understand, Stefan is your secondary rubber duck in case of any problem. The SSL certificate is for me, as I said, so we discussed it with Mark extensively earlier on this meeting. Artifactory outdated metadata is something same. I must take this one because it requires administration permission. It's most probably a duplicated issue with the other related to the bad dependency. We need to check, but that one is really specific and can be closed easily. We have a new issue about Azure Edge CDN shutdown 15 January. We will need to rush for this one. We have a few virtual machine or container templates which are still using an old URL on Azure downloads, such as this one. Usually it's to download AZ copy. We have numerous solutions. Microsoft provide a new top-level hostname. So same as our mirrors system, we need to use the proper hostname. And we can also switch to using packages, because now Ubuntu packages are available even on RM64 for AZ copy. We already did it on Puppet, so we should be able to do it on all these elements. Thankfully, Mark did list exhaustively the location in which we use the soon to be decommissioned URL. Is there a volunteer for this one? Yes. Thanks, Stefan. We have a few other issues not triaged yet, but that are still not blocker. So issue with Gatsby deployment after dependency upgrade. No, that's not the one I wanted. Kevin, you did open an issue about Jenkins IO pull request failing, right? Stefan showed me something.
I think it's
earlier.
because I removed the triage
Okay. So
this
can I?
morning.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Kevin. We have that issue. The website preview deployment for Jenkins IO are failing since a few days.
Yep.
It's not blocking Jenkins CI part and deployment. So it's not a blocker, but it's a degraded service now. Thanks, Stefan, for taking care of this. We have discussed with Stefan the root cause and the changes. Short term, we are going to bump the Ruby version inside Jenkins.io script to the 3.4.0. That's the one failing on the preview. So of course, that bump won't be sufficient because it will also fail the CI on the pull request, and we will have to fix the problem. Stefan identified the low-level issue, missing dependency. That should be an easy one. If it's not, we will have to discuss, but we will have to bump Ruby to 3.4.0 at the moment on time. So in any case, it's needed. In the future, there is a room for an update CLI tracking here that would say, hey, I'm checking what is the currently deployed Ruby version on the infrastructure agent, and I will open a pull request to bump it inside CI Jenkins IO. In that case, the pull request that Stefan will most probably trigger could have been automated. It doesn't remove the failure. It just pushes us to updates soon because that we are in advance on the infrastructure for once. That doesn't happen often. please. It's only because it's Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So Stefan, may I let you add it to the new milestone, please?
Yes.
Cool. I will add it in the notes. We have the Gatsby issue that needs to be investigated, as far as I remember. The other issue need to be investigated. So update center, external user, Maven Central. These three are not top priority. And for the rest, we have a few CI Jenkins IO tasks remaining. So yeah, that's the one. Stefan, I think we were a bit too ambitious on the other one. So I will assign this one to you if it's okay for you. That's the credential-less for CI Jenkins IO to create agents and then setting up the templates. Okay for you? That's the one you started to work on since yesterday.
I'm sorry, I was muted, so I answer
Okay,
you. And
cool.
I'm not sure we'll be able to do everything. I remind you, I will be
Mhm.
off on Thursday and Friday.
Yep, but just we will reorder in priority the two of us then.
Thank you.
And for the rest, these are GDK 21, so it's too far away. So let's move them. Let me check if we have other new issues just in case. We don't. So yes, we have to think in priority about expirations. So credential expirations, Azure Age CDN, and fixing the problem then such as Ruby 3.4, etc. And then we will go back on the main topics. Jay, for you, priority is on the update CLI tasks. And once it's done, you can go back to pipeline libraries. More on this next week. So we'll need to update the dates to point to the new milestone that has been already created. And that's all for me. 2 minutes left. We can extend if you have questions, but ideally, we are at 1 hour. Are there any questions here, folks? Okay. Ian, you were patient and you spent 1 hour with us. Thanks. Do you have questions, things you will want to discuss with us?
Yeah, so thank you so much. I am like new to contributing. Okay, so I'm looking here to like contribute in like infra. I mostly do some like I'm learning DevOps and SysOps and cloud, and now like I'm like willing to contribute. So like, can you please guide me further? So how to like start? It would be great for me.
So we don't have a lot of newcomers ready issues because that's almost a full-time job here. I think Jay could confirm it's not easy to get started. We have a few issues, but usually we expect contributor to start understanding the project or one of the elements and start working on them. I don't know if you're at ease with Docker builds and Docker files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because eventually we have a few issues for you. We don't have anything easy to get started on. The problem is the amount of time for us to make someone learn. We don't have that time right now, so we expect people to have a bit of autonomy as a beginning.
Yeah, like
Um,
I can work on Helm charts and like Docker.
Interesting. Stefan, do you feel like you could split the burden on the Azure Age.NET shutdown? Because we have a Packer image part that you will have to take care of because that's an heavy one. But there is a 1 or 2 Docker images which are publics. That could be interesting for Ian.
Yeah, that can be a good start for him, and he will not be alone. I agree. Are you okay with that, Ian?
Yeah, sure. That would be great for me.
Cool.
Okay. So Ian, if you are okay with this, I will let you discuss this. So I believe you have joined the Elements channel Jenkins-Infra.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So that will be the best way to communicate in chat with Stefan. So Stefan leads the issue because Stefan has access to some private controller or area that you won't have access to. Usually we wait people to be with us a few months before granting accesses. However, you will have the ability to open pull requests to test by yourself, and Stefan will be able to review your pull request and integrate them on the go. So that could be a great start. Is that okay for you?
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Cool. So let's roll for it. If you have any issue, ping either write them down on the issue or contact Stefan, and we will meet each other next week then.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
And thanks you for your help.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all. Are there other topics
Yeah.
you want to mention?
Yeah, for now it's like, okay, I will look on the thing and communicate on element.
I'm trying to find you in Element right now.
If you can just drop a hello from Ian message in the channel, and Stefan will answer to you directly. Is that okay for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, sure. Like right now, I'm joining the meeting from my phone. The element is logging in my laptop. So soon, when I will reach my room, I will ping him.
Cool. No,
think I
no, no
found you.
emergency. You can wait a few hours if needed. No problem.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Ian. Welcome. Hello back, Mark and Hervé. We were on almost closing, so Ian volunteers to help us. Is going to work with Stefan on updating the Azure Edge.net URL CDN that we use across different Docker files and Packer image. Stefan will take care of the Packer image because that's an EV one, but for the Docker images, that should be quite fine because Ian should be able to build and test on his own machine the change and open the pull request to help us. So that could be a great start to help us contributing.
Great. So on that one, I assume that, or I needed to ask, are the notes in the issue ticket adequate? I realized that I provided a link to a private chat as evidence, and that was terrible. It's like, oh, that didn't help anybody. Is there enough there that, oh, good, somebody else has expanded it dramatically. Okay, so it looks like, okay, so was it sufficient? Do I need to do a better job of providing those kind of issue reports?
For me, the issue is
It looks perfect.
it's really perfect. As you said, except if you can update the link to the private discussion.
And I'm not sure where to find a public discussion of it is the thing. So I put the private
Okay.
discussion so that I had access to it at least.
Okay.
I could copy the text from the private discussion in, but I didn't find it.
Yeah.
That was actually sort of what was dismaying. Is like, wait a sec, a shutdown of a component that's important to us, but the only place I saw mention of it
It's
was a
private.
thing that I was accidentally in because of another reason. So okay.
No problem. Proposal is that you can just update to remove the link then. That's okay to say we have an upcoming shutdown and we will work on this one. In any case, as you wrote, Microsoft recommend to use the ak.ms CDN. So let's move to ak.ms and that's okay.
And take advantage to rename Terraform to Terraform.
Oh,
yeah.
Usually it's Damien who's triggers things
Yeah,
like that.
I'm champion of this kind of letter inversion. You can mock me for this.
Okay, great.
Cool. So thanks, Ian. Hope you will have fun on helping us. Are there any last topic to bring to discuss, or everything is good and we can close the meeting?
See where that could you scroll through the agenda, just slow scroll for my benefit, Damien? There may have been topics in the issues that I needed to ask about while I was gone.
Well, I updated the amount for the cloud
Cool.
bees.
I want to see how much it was.
It was way more than 120. It's 130 something.
Ooh.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
that's really a nice. All right.
Nice drop.
Both a nice drop and a way of saying thank you for the 2023 donation that was made. That was a substantial donation in 2023. Yes, we're delighted that we saved money in 2024 and still provided comparable or better services. Great. Keep scrolling, Damien. Excuse my needing to
And
take everybody's time.
is it okay for everyone if we rename the team to the Billing Crushers or?
Yeah, that why didn't I think of that? Great team name. I like that.
So we had a few issue, expiration, Terraform, credential, and stuff. A
Oh,
few cleanup.
I bet there's something in here about artifact caching proxy. Are we generally okay on that one right now? No. Oh, yes, there it is.
Yes, it's on the work in progress part.
Great. Okay, good. Oh, and DNF5, I've done nothing on that. Okay, that's a good
Same.
reminder for me that we have more work to do. It's not harming us to leave it as it is, but really we
Yep.
need, if we don't get to it before Contributor Summit, we should probably discuss it at Contributor Summit. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
And then the stats, the infra statistics thing
Mm-hmm.
is that one okay, that one's got a topic and it's ping, and then we need to probably at Contributor Summit discuss further about how do we
Absolutely.
bring it out. Okay. And I assume Contributor Summit will have a topic about the replacement of accounts.jenkins.io.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm still asking.
Okay.
Looks like it needs because you are the one suffering from it right now. In any case, but we will suffer. We will have our pain on this one. So yes, absolutely, that's a topic.
Great. Okay. That covered all the topics I had then. I think that's
Okay,
thanks for slow scrolling for my benefit.
no problem. I'm double checking. So Jay works on the update CLI part, and so it's not here. I will add, there is an issue I will associate Jay with. That's monitoring the private instance report. Since Jay is currently learning the pipeline library in order to have and build the first publish job report or whatever, that will be a function that will push a JSON with timestamp and status, and then we can create monitoring of this to avoid connecting private controllers to anything because it's too dangerous to have. And we say that, let me know if it's okay, Jay, but we said let's do a first iteration with we only publish without trying try, catch, and weird situation. And the monitoring will focus on first the timestamp and eventually the build outside. Because if a build is aborted, you never reach the end of the build, so it's never called. But what we discussed and pointed out with Jay in pair is that if it's not updated after some time, we need to look at it. Even if it's an aborted build and we don't have report, we don't care. So we don't need to cover all cases. We don't care about, oh, if it's that case or that case or that case. We just focus on nominal case, and nominal case is what we monitor. If we are not in nominal case, we have to look because that's for update center, Jenkins.io publication, or that kind of critical jobs. SSL cert, Artifactory, Azure CDN. Yeah, I think that's all. That's all. I don't have anything else. Same for other? Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna close the meeting. I'm stopping screen share. So I'm gonna stop recording. So for people watching us on YouTube recording, see you next week. Bye-bye.